Arts Beatniks. It's the KC Arts Beat Report. I'm Patrick Neas. And I tell you, you know, uh, glamour, I think, is way underrated. What would life be without glamour? It'd be like, living the grapes of wrath every day. So, we're going to be talking about glamour today on the KC Arts Beat report with Clint Ashlock, the artistic director of the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. They have a big concert coming up celebrating glamour. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you to please, like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, and also please follow us on Facebook, where every day we post all kinds of great information about the arts. We celebrate the birthdays of great composers, filmmakers, visual artists, and authors, and we acknowledge certain great dates in history of the arts. And we have a lot of fun there. And we also keep you up to date on what's happening in the arts in Kansas City. For example, Glamour of Old Hollywood happening at 6 p.m. May 30th at the Folly Theater, being presented by the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. And with me right now is, as I said, the artistic director. We're always happy to have him on the show, Clint Ashlock. Hello, Clint.
The antithesis of glamour himself.
Oh, I don't know. I consider you and the KC Jazz Orchestra just oozing with glamour. And you especially are going to be doing that with this concert. How'd you have this idea, Clint?
So one little bit of housekeeping real quick. We have a Friday and Saturday at the Folly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The Friday night is our gala. It's the same theme, so it's a little confusing, at least it is to me. And then the concert, the public concert, which the public is welcome to come to our gala as well if they want to buy tickets. But the concert is Saturday night.
And that's May 31st.
May 31st, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you cleared that up. So what's the difference between the gala and the other concert?
Mostly the spelling. It starts with a G. No, we have an annual fundraiser like most organizations, and ours happens to be centered around jazz music. And so this year, for the first time, we thought the timing worked out, and the theme seemed fun enough to kind of piggyback off of the concert date. And our wonderful executive director Alyssa Bell Jackson, and our gala committee sort of decided to take the theme of the concert, which is Saturday night, and make kind of a red carpet experience at the beautiful Folly Theater on Friday night. And so that entails there's a dinner and the usual gala stuff, like there's a silent auction. We do a lot of fund and needs for our education program, for our performance program. We talk about what we've been doing over the last year and what we're planning on doing in the future, but all kind of set to this theme of old Hollywood and glamour with our vocalist that we're bringing in for the weekend, Brenna Whitaker, who's from Kansas City, who lives in Hollywood now. She did some Broadway stuff in New York. She had a record produced by David Foster, and a Kansas City native. So it's kind of fun to bring her back and bridge the Kansas City Hollywood distance gap a little bit.
I like the title, Glamour of Old Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like new Hollywood, it's not so much glamour, but glitz. And I think there's a difference. I think glamour has sort of this distance to it, this kind of like unreachable quality. And, Hollywood now, every detail about everybody's life, but there was something kind of almost godlike about those old Hollywood stars.
Yeah. And I think that there's, one of the, when I'm like researching or reading or whatever about Hollywood, about glamour, about old Hollywood, one of the buzzwords that kept popping up was like an understated sophistication or an understated luxury, like timeless, elegant, things like that. And I mean, what is that more than jazz music too, And we don't necessarily play Los Angeles like classic, West Coast jazz in our group a ton, but we've kind of shifted a little bit for this concert to kind of meld our two worlds a little bit, that old Hollywood world with what we've got going on here in Kansas City musically. And then, the Folly kind of takes care of a lot of the ambiance for sure, because it's such a beautiful room. They did such a great job with that restoration. And it looks gorgeous. And it's kind of, we're kind of taking it and turning it into Grauman's Theater or whatever for for
Uh-huh.
this particular concert cycle. So
Yeah, the Folly definitely has its own glamour, that's for sure. So, what kind of jazz are you going to play that you associate with the glamour of old Hollywood?
it's
Is
going to
it
be,
West Coast jazz or is it?
well, I mean, aside from what I really wanted to do, which was just a 90-minute soliloquy on Fred Astaire and Peggy Lee, that did not get the okay. I was just going to do a spoken word and maybe interpretive dance. But they decided that was probably not good for
Well, darn
anyone.
it.
Um, it's a private project I'll bring out this summer. How about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, a lot of times with our theme concerts, I really look at the material first, and then when we have a guest artist, we have to consider what they feel comfortable doing and what they're inspired to do as well. And
Uh-huh.
so part of what my job is to kind of, really make sure that the guest artists, if we have one or some, feel respected and celebrated for who they are and the time period that they're in, and then try and work them into the theme and the theme around them. So Brenna, being a Hollywood resident, I just kind of asked her, I told her what the theme was. I asked her what she was feeling, and then we kind of started with some songs of hers that she wanted to do. And there's some, certainly some, like, there's a Peggy Lee song that she wants to do, Over the Rainbow, which kind of is Hollywood meets Kansas, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and then some other things like that capture sort of the like the imagination or the the otherworldliness of Hollywood. Pure Imagination is, not necessarily an old Hollywood song, but I mean, I think I listen to that song and I can totally be transported, beyond Gene Wilder singing it, like to another time. It's a pretty timeless song. And then she wanted to do some storytelling. So um, there's Reading Rainbow. She wanted to incorporate kind of that, but with her kind of Hollywood bent. So we're really excited to present some stuff that's not necessarily old Hollywood, but in a very luxurious kind of style, sophisticated style. And then we're doing a few new arrangements instrumentally. I'm writing one on Moon River, and another person, Steve Decker, is writing one on As Time Goes By. And then we have a string quartet that's also playing throughout the evening,
Oh,
which adds kind of an elevation of elegance to the thing. So they're starting As Time Goes By, and that goes into the big band thing. And I've got them incorporated on Over the Rainbow. And yeah, and then there's Brad Gregory's doing one on It's Wonderful from American in Paris. Was in the film American in Paris with Gene Kelly, um, and so just kind of weaving all of this in and out of the evening, to create kind of a 21st century examination of what old Hollywood through a jazz lens in Kansas City might be.
it sounds wonderful. I think as time goes by, really lends itself well to jazz. Do you know Dexter Gordon's version of that?
I've heard so many versions of that song. I can't remember what album Dex's. Do you know what album that's on?
I think Manhattan Serenade. You know that one? That was
Is that the one with like Woody Shaw? No, that was
um,
Homecoming.
no, I don't think so.
Um,
But
I'm
there's
trying to think who's on that record.
but there's just something about, that saxophone playing as time goes by. You can just imagine Bogey in a smoke-filled club, it's just perfect. That's a great choice, Clint, I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm curious what Steve does with it. I haven't heard, what his idea is of it yet, but I'm I can't wait, and that's part of the joy of what we do, which is kind of the intrepid spirit of jazz, so it's
Yes.
fantastic trombonist and arranger. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I have heard Brad's take on this wonderful, and that's kind of a bossa.
Uh-huh.
And my take on Moon River is sort of inspired by Jacob Collier a little bit, and then it goes into that kind of more Audrey Hepburn-y kind of instrumental style. But yeah.
Wow, sounds wonderful. Tell me, Clint, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Well, what's your favorite old Hollywood film? Well, it doesn't have to just be one, but what kind of old Hollywood movies really grab you?
I mean, Casablanca, like I would say would have to be my favorite. It's certainly the one I've watched the most. I think, you know, any of those kind of which one did Faulkner write the screenplay for?
Uh,
Which Philip Marlowe was it
oh,
Maltese Falcon? Did Faulkner do that one?
maybe. Yeah,
Um, I've been reading The Sound and the Fury recently, and it's my first Faulkner novel, but which it's wonderful. But there's one of those. I think it's Maltese Falcon, maybe that Humphrey Bogart was in.
right, right. He was Sam Spade.
Yeah, and I think
What a great
like
cast.
yeah, but I mean the one I've seen the most, I'm sure, is Casablanca. I try to watch that every year. Rosebud. I mean,
Oh, sure, sure.
uh, I
Yeah.
that that's great. I mean, I tend to watch more stuff from like the 60s and 70s onward than early stuff. I think it's a little difficult to, you know, kind of endure some of the stuff in uh oh, I'm completely drawing a blank. Not My Fair Lady, but not Roman Holiday, but Audrey Hepburn,
Oh, Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Breakfast at Tiffany's. I mean, there's some difficult stuff in there to watch now.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yes.
the kind of the cultural stuff. But
Moon River lives on.
yeah, but a good part of that movie is still wonderful to me.
Yeah.
Um,
And her the way she sings Moon River is just
oh my goodness. I mean, if there's anything that kind of captures what you were saying, um, about the sort of elevated um uh nature of old Hollywood, that kind of I mean, you said godliness, but something like that. I think, that she personifies that. And there's that quip of Paul Desmond, the jazz saxophone player, where he said that he wanted his sound on the alto saxophone. He was the saxophonist Dave Brubeck.
oh,
Uh, he wanted his sound to sound like Audrey Hepburn appeared on stage.
oh wow.
He called it the sound of a dry martini. But
Wow. What a
yeah, I
great
mean,
way
yeah,
to describe the sound.
yeah. So that I mean, Citizen Kane,
Sure.
Roman Holiday, all the Bogart stuff. Any of
And like you were saying about the Maltese Falcon, all those Philip Marlowe movies are, they just they go with jazz so
oh
perfectly.
yeah, totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Also, I don't know if you're doing any of this music, but also I love the old Busby Berkeley movies. And I don't know if you
Uh,
know, oh,
no, I'm
the
not.
music is just fantastic. As a matter of fact, I've been listening to this album with John McGlynn doing full orchestral arrangements of music from the Busby Berkeley movies, and the arrangements are just amazing.
Say,
So,
okay, I can't, there's a reflection.
oh
It's,
yeah, well,
look it
it's
up.
the Busby Berkeley album, words and music by Al Dubin and Harry Warren, from 42nd Street, The Gold Diggers of 1933, Dames and the Gold Diggers of 1925, and there are many others. And they've been all arranged for, well, they were originally written for big orchestra, but they've been re-recorded by the London Philharmonic Orchestra.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anyway, that's some fantastic music too. That has its own unique sound that just when you listen to it, man, you are immediately taken back to the 1930s. It couldn't have been written in any other era.
Man.
Yeah,
Okay.
great stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a good program at some point. You just need to get a whole bunch of dancers that could do the kaleidoscope, dance routines on stage. Then it'd be
That,
perfect.
yeah, I think that would be, I'm imagining it now. I would like to, I need to listen to it, but I can
Yeah,
see like what the staging might look like. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Well, maybe
Yeah.
an idea for the future. Well, not that you
I
need
won't,
great
I,
ideas.
I won't sleep on it, Patrick, for
Yeah, all
sure.
right. No, I mean, you're
Oh
full of
wait,
great ideas.
the big sleep. That's the one. The big
Yeah, yeah,
sleep.
yeah.
There
Yeah,
we
that's
go.
right.
Okay,
Exactly. Right. The big sleep.
there we go.
But so tell us the name of the singer again, Clint.
Her name's Brenna Whitaker.
Brenda Whitaker. Uh-huh.
Brenna,
Oh,
Brenna.
Brenda.
Brenna, yeah,
Uh-huh. Boy. And she's a Kansas City native.
she is.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, that's so neat. And so she's steeped in Hollywood if she's living there. So this is going to be really, really great.
She's
Uh,
got some pretty amazing connections out there for sure. I mean, having a record, produced by David Foster. She's at Herb Alpert's Jazz Club, I believe, like monthly.
wow.
I think it's called, well, it's not Adagio. It's a Vibrato, I guess, is the name of that club. I think. Don't I should have done my research, but um, I think Herb's daughter Eden maybe runs that club,
Oh,
and I
neat.
think Brenna's out there monthly or more than that, and um, she's got some music with like a little big band that she's kind of recording and touring with, I think, and I believe she just released a single. She covered Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder, and that's a beautiful song. That's my favorite artist of all time, so I really liked her version of that. And yeah, she's a great singer. I know that Mark Lowry, our local friend Mark, piano player, he always spoke really highly of Brenna, and it's always nice to have that kind of connection if we can bring folks in from outside Kansas City that are originally from here.
Yeah, you do. You have those connections, which is so great. Well, it's the Glamour of Old Hollywood at 6 p.m. May 30th. What time is it on May 31st, Clint?
I think the concert on the 31st it's at 7 p.m. Let me check that out.
Well,
Um,
the May 30th concert is a gala.
it's a
And
gala. Yeah,
so
and
it's a
that's at
great lineup
6.
at 6.
I'm pretty sure that the concert itself is at 7
Uh-huh.
on Saturday night.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so
Yes, it is. It is 7 p.m.
7 p.m. on Saturday, May 31st. The gala starts at 6 p.m. on May 30th. They're at the Folly Theater, our own glamorous little Grauman's right here in Kansas City. Great choice for a venue, Clint. And the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. Now, for tickets, go to www.kcjo.org. Did I get that
That,
right?
that's correct. That's correct. And I think the tickets for the gala, I believe that they start for non-subscribers at like 175.
Uh-huh.
So it's gala pricing, but there's, food and a bunch of different things. The regular concert tickets are our usual kind of, price tier. So the the highfalutin seats are like $80, but it goes down to I think like 25 or $30 for the sort of, you know, there's a price range for those, but it's more like just the concert. as opposed to the gala, which is an event, you know.
Yes, well, the gala sounds wonderful, and it's a great way to support the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra, which does so much more than concerts. I mean, you guys
Yep,
do all kinds of educational work too, right?
we do, and that's you know, the support that we get from the gala. It is definitely one of the main things that kind of keeps all of our programming going throughout the year. It's just such an integral part to our fundraising. And like I make a video sort of expressing what we've done, and we show it, you know, at the event that evening. And we've done so much with education, and we're continuing to try and, you know, find ways to just bring jazz to young people free of cost to them. You know, of course, it costs us money to pay the musicians and everything, but um, you know, we've got some things in the works. I wrote a 45-minute suite that's sort of like the Bernstein concert for young people,
Oh,
except
neat.
with a big band. So it's kind of introducing jazz to kids. Um, and we play songs like Sing, Sing, Sing and 1 o'clock Jump. And I get the kids to scat. Like I teach them how to scat, and
Great.
they sing along with like Minnie the Moocher. I changed the lyrics to make it more like Disney Minnie, you know. We play the theme song from Bluey. They go freaking nuts over Bluey. And I mean, I do
Oh, that's
too.
great.
Greatest show of all time. And then we bring small groups into school lunches, like just a trio where we'll play lunchtime, just play songs so that they can hear jazz music and not have to be concerned about what it is. It's just there. It's just music, you know, and to kind of imbue our city with the art form that we say that we are steeped in, you know. So we're just trying to put our efforts kind of where our city's mouth is a little bit, especially for young folks. And I feel really positive about the stuff that we're doing and continue to do and look forward to doing in the future. And yeah, for sure, this gala is going to um, go a long way to helping us do that.
Well, you guys are carrying the torch for Kansas City Jazz, and if you want to help that keep that flame alive, help them out and go to that gala on May 30th, or if you can't make that, go to the concert on May 31st. And for more information, kcjo.org.
That's
Uh,
right.
and as we go out here and we play the closing theme music, I want to remind people that's performed by the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra, Moten Swing. I always have to tell Clint how appreciative we are that he lets us use that their great music. We really enjoy it. We use it on every one of our podcasts. So thank you so much, Clint, for that and for all the great music you provide to the city and everything you do, all the educational work and everything else. And this is the last concert of the season, right?
It is. It is. And then we have a little bit of a break. We're actually doing one of those young people's concerts in June. But then we've got sort of the summer off to work towards next season, which is pretty exciting. We've got a pretty great one coming up next year. So looking
Well,
forward to that.
yeah, I look forward to talking to you about it too. So until next time, this is the KC Arts Beat Report. I'm Patrick Neas.